testing this out. Hopefully this sounds good with the air conditioner still running, because we need it, don't we? This is a makeup demonstration. It's still fantasy makeup. This is going to be Kabuki makeup. So Kabuki is a Japanese style makeup. Goes back thousands of years. It's basically using 3 colors primarily. You have your clown white, you have your red for the heroes, and then the red and black is for the bad guys. So you have the good guys, the antagonist, and the protagonist. So good guy is the protagonist, antagonist is the bad guy. So just be aware, you're going to need your makeup, your 3 colors. You're going to need a powder puff, because you're going to use a lot of powder. You're going to need a little powder brush to brush off excess powder. You're going to want to use some baby powder, white or talcum powder, doesn't matter as long as it's white, because of the clown white. If you're using your typical makeup powder that comes with the kits, that is tinted to be more like your foundation colors. You don't want that, because that's going to turn the white tan or brown or whatever color. So use white makeup. You're going to need a couple of brushes. You're going to need some paper towels. You're going to need some damp paper towels. And you're going to need a whole lot of Q-tips.
That's a lot.
So you're going to start by covering the face. Now I'm not going to, because he's got a lot of hair up here and we don't have anything to hold it back with right now, because we are doing this in the middle of quarantine for the coronavirus. So we're limited on our supplies and our location.
You know you can't put that.
I got plenty of lighting equipment and things like that, but I don't have any hair ties. Go figure. Anyway, he's going to tie it back with this dampness of his skin. So you're going to start with, typically what you start with is the white first. Go with lighter colors first, and then go dark. And then typically I use the red last, but it doesn't matter. You can go black or red next. So I'm going to start with the white, then I'll probably go black and then red. If I do red. You want some red? You want to be a bad guy?
Okay.
You don't care. Alright, so you start with applying this one first. Now you can use a brush. Since these are small brushes, I'm not going to use the brush for applying this. I'm going to use a sponge applicator, since I have some here. Well, I have one here, because I'm going to spread it around fast. So what you do is you apply the white makeup first, and you apply it wherever you think you need it, and then a little bit around outside of where you think you need it. And in theory, the white makeup should go more or less across the entire face. So I'm putting it on him. I'm not going to put this on as thick as I normally would, because I know that those of you who are at home doing this, most of you that are in quarantine don't have the clown white makeup to use. So it's the makeup that you have, the white makeup that's in your kits, very thin. So I'll show you what it's going to look like with your thinness. But basically I'm just applying the white makeup all around his face. I'm not going to go so much into his hairline right now or down under his chin, because he doesn't want to have to go through a shower to get this off. He could. He doesn't mind. He hasn't had a shower today, baby. Yeah, he has. Never mind. This is my model, Derric. He was nice enough to be quarantined with me. I don't think he had any choice in that matter. But. So as you're applying the makeup, if you need the model to do something, feel free to talk to them. Tell them to turn their head if they need to turn their head. Close their eye when they need you need them to close it. Go ahead and close this eye. So you would also, you want to cover the eyebrow. If it needs to be white, cover it with white. If it needs to be black, cover it with the black, whatever. But as you apply the makeup, you're going to make sure it's nice and thorough, and you want to get a good even coating so that it's not all splotchy looking. And that's where the clown white comes in better, because it's thicker and it allows you to do more of that. Hold your head still so I don't tear you up. Also be aware that this kind of process takes a little longer than regular makeup, so don't rush it. Don't get into a big rush to get something done. Just do what you need to do and take your time, and don't rush things, because you want it to look good. You don't want to have to worry about, ooh, that's ugly, I don't like it at all. Cover the eye. Don't worry about the edges being nice and clean at this point, because I'm going to do a process we call cutting out, where I'm going to cut out excess white and make room for the other colors as I go. So now, close that eye again. So now, if you can see that his face is mostly white, so it's good. I could cover the lips if I want to. That gets a little bothersome after a while, especially for the model or for the actor. So now that I've got the white where I want it, now I've got to determine where I want the black and where I want the red. And before I start applying that, I'm going to take my Q-tips, and you're going to go through a lot of these because you got to keep it nice, clean lines. So I'm going to determine where I want to do red or black. So I've got to take away any white that's in the place of where the red or black. So if I'm going to do something like, I'm going to do a curve under his eye. Turn your head that way. Hold still. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I did a curve right here, and all I'm doing is taking away the white so that it's no longer there. But I want this to be as nice and clean as I possibly can.
Oh, come on.
You want nice clean lines or clean edges on the lines, whether they're curved or straight lines, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to make it go on up. So this color, this is going to be black. So you're a bad guy. So now I'm going to do the same thing over on the other side. And this is where it's good. Turn your head this way. If you can make nice symmetrical curves and lines, that's going to help you a lot. So as I said, you're going to use a lot of Q-tips, because you can't, as you keep going over the white, it's going to get on the Q-tip, and then eventually you get so much on the Q-tip that it's going to smear back into what you're trying to cut out of the white. And the reason why you use this method where you cut out things is because you want your colors to be nice and crisp and distinct. White is white. You don't want the black, when you put the black on, to contaminate the white, and you don't want the red to contaminate the red, the white, or the black, or whatever. You want to keep the nice distinct colors. So once you've cut out what you want, we're going to give you a couple down here too. We'll give you, this will look kind of cool. We'll give you a line here. Put that over here. Don't have as much makeup, but that's alright. That'll cover that. And then I'm going to give you kind of a semi-mustache look here. This will be black. I'm making this one up as I go. I'm going to give you guys some sheets that you can use to duplicate off of, or you can create your own. Just depends on what you want to do. Then we're just going to do a curved line down here for you. That'll be black as well. So this will all be black except for these lines around the eyes I'm going to make red, so you have a little bit of red on you. So now that I've cut out what I want to cut out, almost.
Give me a second.
I went a little further with one eye than the other, so I'm going to adjust that just a little bit. So now that I've cut out everything I need to cut out, move my makeup out of the way a little bit, take my powder. You're going to get this all over you, by the way. I'm just warning you now. And when you powder puff somebody with this kind of makeup on, don't worry about using too much powder, because you cannot use too much powder. You want this. Close your eyes, shut your mouth. You want a lot of excess powder. It should be flying everywhere. You should see powder puffing everywhere. Oh, excuse me, I just poured it all over you. You ready? I'm pouring it all over. Close your mouth. And again, it looks like there's a lot of excess powder, but you want to set the makeup, and you really want to make sure that it's set and touching every bit of makeup, so that if you were to touch the makeup with your hands, it would not be sticky. Because if it's sticky, that means it's going to get contaminated with the other makeup, and that's why you put lots of powder on. And you're going to repeat this process more than once, so you're going to have powder all over the place. Your mom's going to love it when I send you in like this. And that's why you get your powder brush, close your eyes, and you wipe off excess powder, making sure you get everything.
I got it.
You ate some powder? You're going to have lots of powder in you. Get as much of the excess off as you can this way. Now that I'm doing this, now I'm going to take one of my damp cloths, paper towels. Bet you wish I'd done this sooner, huh? And now I'm just going to dampen the difference. Feels good?
Sounds cold.
He says cold. So I'm just going to dampen the makeup, and this will pull off any excess powder that doesn't need to be there. And you're mostly trying to get the powder off of where I'm going to put the black. So with the black, since I'm using smaller areas, I'm going to go ahead and use a brush for the black. And so I'm just going to follow where my lines are that I drew on there that I took out the white with. Now, if I was doing this like for real, this would be so thick, the white, it would be extremely easy to see. But because I did it thin like you guys, so that you'll see it like you're going to see it on yours, I just left it so it's a little harder to see where the lines are. But the idea is, as I draw these lines in, I want to make nice straight edges on these so that it looks like it should. So make sure you wipe off the excess makeup. Don't sweat. And this is where it takes a little more time, especially until you get a good hand at doing these lines and curves and such, because you want to make sure it looks nice it doesn't look really weird. Or so if you look at it right now, if you can see that right here, you don't want the lines to look like that, so I'm gonna have to go in and touch that up. This is not too bad here as I'm thickening it out. So as I thicken it out a little bit, I got room to adjust just a little. I want it to go on there nice and thick and look just the way I want it to look. And I'm staying out of the white because again, I don't want it to get into the white. Nice smooth edges. And again, when you're dealing with things like the eyebrow where there's hair coming out, that's gonna bother your lines a little bit possibly, so you're gonna want to be careful around those, especially if you're covering the eyebrow. So there's that. You can see that good. So now I'm going to do down here. And this is just going like this. You bored yet? Again, this is a little more difficult around here because you got the contours around the mouth to deal with. So these lines are not coming out quite as smooth as I'd like them to. Careful, you might be able to use a Q-tip. If you're going to use a Q-tip for what I'm getting ready to do, I like to wrap up the cotton a little bit so it's tightly wound so it doesn't get all splotchy on me, because I'm going to try to smooth that edge just a little bit better. This is tricky. I like smooth edges. I don't like it looking weird. This is also not the most ideal conditions here because I'm bending over quite a bit, but we're dealing with what we have available at this time. So if you can see, turn your head that way a little bit. So here's the design so far. And the design will go on this side the same way. For the safety's sake of time, not for safety because he's safe right now, right? He says he's safe. But for time's sake, I'm not going to do this side, although I'd make it look exactly like this side. I'm going to go ahead and do the red so you can see how the red looks, and we'll set that there. I'm not entirely happy with this yet, but for right now you get the idea of what we're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and powder this part of it, move my makeup out of the way, take my powder brush. You ready for some more powder? You didn't know you were having this for lunch, did you? What was my lunch like? It was chalky. It was all chalky like. Close your eyes, close your mouth. Definitely want to use a lot of powder on the black so that it doesn't get a lot of black on your powder puff as well. because black makeup is really got a lot of color. The red is the same way. So as you're powdering this, make sure you have plenty of powder on your puff so that it doesn't get, because if it gets on your puff, a lot of black on your puff, that's going to cause it to be contaminated, and then you'll start splotching black or red splotches all over the rest of the makeup, and you don't want to do that, because then your white will have all these little splotches of color added to it. Make sure I've got a good solid covering of everything. Looks like it. So now I'm going to take my puff, close your eyes again. I'm going to wipe this off with this again. Nice and pretty like. Now I'm going to take my damp cloth again. He's making faces at you, but I'm not really hurting him or anything.
It's very cold.
He just thinks it's cold. Now you can see the black is very crisp and clear and bright, and the white is also, well, considering how thin the white is, that's just the way it is, but it's still clear. Now I'm going to do the red, and on this one I only did red, is only going to go right here. So let me add some red to him. If you have to add these colors, the black and the red, you could use your Q-tips to add them. This is going to take you a lot longer to do it with Q-tips. That's why I always like to use the brushes. And right here, I'm just doing a big splotch of red. With nice crisp lines if I can. Type of brush you use can also make a difference on your makeup and applying it and how well you can apply it. But the best thing you can do is make yourself have a steady hand. If you need to, brace your hand with your other arm, if that'll help you get steady hands. So there is the red. Turn your head that way a little bit so they can see the red. So now, again, his favorite part, we powder. Actually, his favorite part is the wet wipe afterwards, because that's nice and cold. But fortunately, there's not a whole lot to powder here because there's just one little spot. Eyes closed. Lots of powder on the makeup. Brush it off, nice and simple like. See, this is also why you powder, so you don't get a whole lot of color into your brush as well. Then you do some dampening again. So then you can see how crisp and clear. Open your mouth a little bit. Wipe some of that off your lips. So now you see bright and shiny red. It's not pink because it's not mixed with the white. The black is not gray because it's not mixed with the white. You don't have contamination going across back and forth of them all. Nice, crisp, clear colors. And there's your makeup design. And that's how you do the kabuki. Now obviously I would do this side of the mouth, the face as well. But for purposes of time, I'm not going to do that. Because you're ready to go too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tired too. Not that we've been doing a lot. I mean, we're working, but you know. So anyway, this is how you do the kabuki makeup. So I'm going to give you a bunch of designs. You can choose from one of those and try to copy that. Or you can create your own design You can go online and look up different Kabuki designs, and you'll see some of the ones I've got, and you'll probably see some other new ones that you can try. Primarily white, black, red. Sometimes you'll see blue or yellow added, and you can do that if you have those colors. Hopefully you've got these colors to work with. If you don't have a crisp red like this, use your lipstick color or something along those lines. Or if you can get out to one of the stores, maybe you can get a little red makeup or something, and black as well. So this is how it works. Hopefully you learned something. If you didn't, you should have. Okay? Talk to y'all later.